Hello everyone, this is Venom, and we are back for some more Prismatic Exotic Effect speculation here. So last time we went over the Titan, all the exotics for the Titan, we speculated which exotics may or may not be in the pool. We pointed out the ones that we do know are going to be in the exotic pool. We're going to go ahead and do the Hunter today. So, starting from the beginning, before we even start, I do want to go ahead and mention something. I've seen a lot of talk about PvP being dead in Prismatic. I'm going to do another video kind of talking about Prismatic. It's going to be a lot more balanced than I think we initially thought. But I also think that there are going to be some pretty significant PvP implications. And I don't think it's necessarily going to be from the subclass itself. I think it's going to be from the exotic combinations. And I'm going to go over some of those today. Just why I think that. So I think the exotic itself is going to be what is interesting for PvP. I don't think the subclass itself is what's going to be interesting for PvP, so we'll see. But let's go ahead and hop on in here. First up, we got the Knucklehead Radar. It says, provides radar while you're aiming and marks targets, increasing damage to low health marked targets. This is one that's very neutral. I can easily see this one being in the pool. And I'm sorry, let me mention one more thing too. We are doing a very specific set of rules for the speculation here. It seems as though all the effects we've seen so far confirmed are neutral effects. Now, there are some that we're still kind of iffy on. It could be that some effects can roll for that class. For example, it could be that, Celestial Nighthawk can roll for the Hunter, but not for the Titan and the Warlock. It's a possibility. Unlikely, but it is possible. But for now, we're just going to go completely neutral as far as what we assume is going to be in there. So that being said, as far as neutrality, I don't think Celestial Nighthawk is going to be in there because that's one that's very Hunter and super specific. Now, if it is the case that we can roll for our class as well, then this may be one that's in there. We do have the Golden Gun as one of the supers for the Hunter, so that could be a possibility, but I don't think it's going to be in there. Next up, we got the Foe Tracer. It says improves weapon damage after damaging a target with an ability. Now, already with the Hunter, first up, I think that's going to be in there. And then second off, I'm seeing a lot of perks in here that I am pretty sure are going to be really good for PvP. And I'm going to be very interested to see how the Titan and Warlock handle it when they get their hands on them. So this could be interesting. Now, next we got the Gravitation Forfeit. I don't think this is going to be one that's in there. I don't think, I'm pretty sure that there's no real way for the Titan and the Warlock to turn invisible anywhere near easily. With Prismatic by itself, the Hunter can, but again, unless it's going to be class specific, I don't think Gravitation Forfeit will be in there. It could be, technically it is neutral enough, but it could be in there, but I don't think it's going to be easy for the two to proc it, if that makes sense. So, potential, but we'll see. Now, Wormhurst Crown, this one says dodging gives a small health and shield bump. This one depends on if they change dodging to using your class ability. So there was an exotic that they mentioned, in the dev video, the dev did mention that he had an exotic roll that gave him a second dodge charge. Where it specifically said a second dodge charge, he didn't say a second class ability charge. We didn't actually get to see what that said. If it says second dodge ability, then we know it's going to be class specific or Hunter specific. But if it says a second class ability, then anything that involves class abilities could be up for you. So the Wormhost Crown, I think, could definitely be one. We just don't know if it's going to be one that's going to be Hunter specific or, is going to be, they're going to change that to work with your class ability. Because this could very easily work by putting up your barricade or putting down a rift. Now the Assassin's Cowl, we already know, is confirmed to be one of the effects we're going to be getting. Alright, much like last time, it looks like my son wants to join the video, so I've got him with me. Next up, we've got the Mask of Bacchus. So this one does not really translate to the other two classes. The second portion of it does if you change the shift to just using your class ability, getting that stasis and arc weapon damage bonus, but for the most part, I don't think this is going to be one of them. It could be, but only just the second part of it, I think. Let's see. Next up, Light Ranger. I don't think it's going to be one unless it's going to be class specific. Next up, we got Tragny's Facade. This is gain Woven Mail when grappling and flinch resistance while Woven Mail is active. I can see the flinch resistance being one of them, but not the rest of it. So if they add in the flinch resistance only, then possibly. Otherwise, I don't see this being in the pool because the only class that's got the grapple grenade for Prismatic is going to be the Hunter. Next up, we've got the Young Ahamkar Spine. This one enhances trip mines. So again, I don't think it's going to be in there because we don't have access to all the grenades. Next up, Mechanier's Trick Sleeves. Boost sidearms, especially when you're wounded. This is one I do think will be in there. Let's see, when you're critically wounded. Yeah, every part of this is neutral, so this could very easily be one of the effects. Next up, the Aeon Swift. Again, I mentioned before, every class has got an Aeon Swift, so I have no I have no doubt it's going to be one of them. Now, it is unique enough that they might not put it in there, but as far as whether it will qualify, I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be one of the roles you can get in there. In fact, like I said, I think Aeon Swift being in there would be awesome because that would allow you to make, to use Aeons within other exotics. You would actually be able to go in and make the heavy ammo. So that'd be, where it is, Sugar Elite, there we go. So yeah, you'd be able to use the Set of Insight and make heavy ammo while still having another exotic ability. You won't be wasting that slot, so I think Aeons would be awesome to have in there. Next up, Shinobu's Vow. Again, this is going to be grenade specific, and we do not have access to all the grenades, so it's not going to be one that's going to be in there. Sealed Ahamkar's Grasp. This is an interesting one. Melee damage reloads weapons and boosts movement, jump speed, and height. Or movement speed and jump height. This is not only one I think is going to be in the pool, this is one that I think is going to be a little interesting to see if Warlocks and Titans get their hands on this. Because this is a very melee-centric one. This is going to be one I think is going to be very interesting to see in PvP. Next up, Shards of Galanor. Do not think it's going to be in there. In fact, I know it can't be because we do not have access to Blade Barrage, and none of the other classes can benefit from this at all. Now, the second portion of it, however, the Throwing Knife Final Blows, reducing the cooldown of Super, possibly, but the only throwing knife we got as a hunter is going to be a knife trick, and the other classes don't have it. So they would really have to rework this entire effect to get that to work. I don't think they're going to do that with so many other exotics to work with. Oathkeeper, bolt charges can be held indefinitely for increased damage. I have no reason to think this one couldn't be in there. Liar's Handshake, again, this is one that we know is in there. We just don't know exactly what all parts of it are in there. So we saw the actual cross counter buff pop up on the UI, but we don't know if we get exactly how this is going to look. But we do know that is on there. Kepri Sting, I don't think this is going to be one. This one says Instant Smoke Bomb with True Sight and Improved Damage. This is a Smoke Bomb specific one. If we have class specific exotics, then yes. If not, then no. Enturia's Embrace. Weighted Knife bounces twice and deals bonus damage. Again, we don't have access to the weighted knife, so I'm going to go ahead and say no on this one. Renewal Grasp. This is very specific to Duskfield Grenades. We do not have access to Duskfield Grenades, except for the Warlock. I believe the Warlock has access to them. This is one that starts off as a Hunter exotic, but can only be used by the Warlock in Prismatic. This could be interesting if they do class-specific effects. So if they do, this could be one that's class-specific, but not for its original class, but for the Warlock. So we'll see about that one. That could be interesting. Now, Calibrand's Hand is another one that I talked about before. We saw an effect that said powered final blows from powered melee final blows cause ignitions. Except we don't know if it's coming from Calibrand's Hand or if it's coming from the Severance Enclosure from the Titan. They both have fairly similar effects. The difference, though, is that Calibrand's Hand works on a very specific melee, so that's why I think it might not be this one. It might be the Severance Enclosure effect that we saw. But either way, we know that there is some effect from one of those two that's in that pool. So for now, we're going to go ahead and say that this or Severance Enclosure is in the pool. Next up, Triton Vice. This is going to be an interesting one. This one says improved glaive melee and glaive projectile final blows cause detonations. I have no reason to think that this won't be in the pool, but I've got a very divisive history with Triton Vice just because I got to think about glaives. Unless they actually make glaive melees the elemental portion of it, like unless they actually make the regular melee elemental, this is really just kind of a waste of exotic, and I got a history with it. It's a long story, but don't worry about it. Mothkeeper's Wraps. This could easily be one that could go for any subclass, and I would really, really like to be able to run this on a Warlock, on a buddy build. So this is one that could be. We don't know, but this could very easily be one of the exotics that are in there. This is a very neutral one. Raiden Flex, not going to be in there, or at least very unlikely for it to be in there. That is a very super specific one. Lucky Raspberry, again, we do not have access to all the grenades, so unlikely that Lucky Raspberry will be in there. The Dragon Shadow, this is one that could be in there. If you change the dodge to using class ability, then this is easily going to be one that's in there. It says dodge reloads guns and buffs speed and handling, so this could be one of the effects. Next up, the Ophidia Spaith. This is one that could easily be translated to work with the other classes. This could easily go from grants 2 knives per charges to you get 2 melees. So it could be that, but we don't know yet. I'm probably going to lean towards no just because of the interesting way Ophidia Spaith works, but it could be one that's in there. Six Coyote, again, we know for a fact that this is in there. We just don't know if it's because we have class-specific roles or because they changed it needing a format working to giving you a second dodge to giving you a second class ability. So we'll see how it works. But we do know that this is one that is in there. One of the devs talked about his build, and this is one of the ones he described as one of his exotic roles. Gwisten Vest, this is not going to be in there at all. This is for a Spectral Blade, so this is definitely not going to be one of the abilities that we get, or one of the exotics we get. Raiju's Harness, possibly, but it seems like a waste of an exotic. This just allows you to deactivate your Arc Staff early. I highly doubt this is one we're going to have, and if we do, again, it's going to be very class-specific because only the Hunter could use it. Next up, the Omnioculus. Guardians you make invisible gain damage resistance. This is one that could be in there, but again, I don't think it's going to just because it's so hard to make yourself invisible, let alone other Guardians outside of the Hunter. So as of right now, I don't know of any other way to make the Titan and the Warlock invisible with Prismatic, and I only know one way to do it with the Hunter, and that is using the Stylus Executioner. There's no way I could think to make your teammates invisible, and we do not have the Shadow Dive to make our teams invisible, so I don't think this one's going to be in there. Falcon Salberg, this is one I could see being in there, but again, this is going to be one that's going to be very hard to use unless you are a Hunter, because you got to turn invisible for it. Lucky Pants, hand cannons ready faster and gain increased accuracy and bonus damage, could be easily in that pool. Orpheus Rig, only if it's going to be very class-specific exotics. There's only one that can work with the Hunter. Stompies, and this is the one I was really wanting to get to. I can't wait to see the Titans and the Warlocks use this. I hope that this is one of the exotics, just because I would love to hear, and I would love to see the discourse over Warlocks and Titans having access to the Stompies. That would be awesome. This is a very neutral one. I 100% think that this could be in there, and I 100% hope that Stompies are one of them. In fact, I hope you can combine, say, the Stompies with, say, Knucklehead Radar or Foe Tracer, or better yet, how about Stompies with, say, One-Eyed Mask? Just throwing you a bone there, PvP players. You guys got some interesting combos you can work with. Potentially, I should say. This is still all still speculation. Next up, Gemini Jester. It says, dodging disorients and removes enemy radars. Using your class ability. If they change that to using your class ability, then that could be one. If not, then probably not. Frosty Fives. Sprinting gives energy. Dodging speeds up sprint. Because of the way this one works, you're supposed to be moving to use it, and only Hunters can dodge. They could just give you the first part where sprinting gives you energy, and not have the dodging portion of it. They could put the whole thing in there and say use your class ability and it increases your sprint. It'd be kind of clunky to put down your barricade and then to try to sprint faster, to put down your rip to sprint faster, but it's possible. We'll call that one a maybe. Bombardiers, this one is all around dodging. I don't see this one really working with the others. Even if you change it to using class ability, it still kind of would be clunky. I mean, you would basically put down a barricade and then you'd be dropping a bomb right where you're at, and it would be behind the barricade. That wouldn't really work out. So, probably not. And I'm going to get to Starters last, because I want to talk about them. Speed Loader Slacks, dodging grants reload handling and airborne effectiveness for you and nearby allies. Dodge and defeat targets to increase gains. Again, this is one that I think could potentially be in there, but they would have to change it to using your class ability would grant you all that. Radiant Dance Machines, this is one that there's no way they're going to put this in there except for, well, I say no way, but I doubt it. It says dodging multiple times, or you can dodge multiple times in rapid succession. I don't know how they would allow... I guess it could work with Titan with like Drenger's Lash. I mean, imagine being able to drop a bunch of barricades with Drenger's Lash back to back to back. That's the only situation I could think of outside of a Hunter where this would actually work. A Warlock doing that doesn't really do much that I could think of. Correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of any benefit to constantly... I guess getting your super back, it depends. There would be some mods it would work with. Potentially, we can come back to it. But the big one, and the one that's really been in my head right now, that we know is going to be one of them, because we saw it for a fact, is the Star Eater skills. And it says pick up orbs of power to overcharge your super. I cannot wait to see what some of these supers look like on the Titan and on the Warlock with the Star Eater skill buff applied to them. Hunters already know what all of our supers can do with it, because, again, we got some of the highest damage because of Star Eater skills in a lot of cases. I cannot wait to see what a Cataclysmic looks like with Star Eater skills on. I cannot wait to see that, and I know you guys can't either. And that is all of the Hunter exotics that could potentially be in the pool for Prismatic. We're going to be going over the Warlock next time, and then after that, I'm going to be bringing out some more build videos. I've got some combination videos for some exotics I want to see. We got quite a few things going on. Again, it's going to be a little bit less editing because, I mean, as of right now, I'm holding my son. He's passed out during all this, but I am watching my son while I make the video, so it's going to be a little bit less editing. But I'm going to try my best to not stutter as much as I haven't. But that being said, thank y'all for coming by. Like the video if you like what we're doing. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing. Thank y'all for coming by, and I will see you on the next video. It should be the Warlock exotics.